Ladies and gentlemen, I always see comments under my videos like, how do you invest your money? But that's not really a good question. And here's why. At this point, I'm investing millions and millions of dollars, but 90% of you aren't there yet. So what I do is not going to apply to you. But since you guys are curious, and I find this to be a rather interesting topic, I decided that today I'm going to share how I would invest $1,000 if I wasn't a multimillionaire. And I want to promise you one thing, that by the end of this video, you will know how to turn 1,000 into 10,000 or even $100,000 in 365 days or less. And yes, I'm aware that that's a massive claim, but I don't expect you to take my word for it. What you're about to watch is exactly what we teach inside of Digital Launchpad. And we get results like this every single day because it just works. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here is the first thing you need to know. There are two main types of investing, offense and defense. You can think of it kind of like a football match. If you are losing, you need to go on offense mode. You need to take risks. You need to score fast. And that same philosophy can be applied to investing. When you're broke, you need to score your first money goals. That's your first 6 or even 7 figures. Then once you are winning, all you have to do is not let the enemy pass through your defense, and you will win the match. Offense investing will get your first 6 or 7 figures. Defense investing will make sure that you don't lose it once you have it. You do offense investing when you're broke, and you do defense investing when you have money to actually protect. Understand? So if you understood this, playing defense only when you have nothing to protect is dumb. This is why people don't get rich. Listen, I could sit here and tell you about the millions and millions of dollars I put into the bond market in Q4 of 2023, and how I keep my money ticking over in a money market fund, and how much money I make from fixed deposit income. But the only reason those numbers are even worth talking about, the amount of money I actually make from those practically bulletproof investments, is because I have money in the first place. And this is why people don't get rich from investing $10 into S&P 500. That is a defense move. Now listen, don't get me wrong. I still think you should put small amounts of money into defense plays, but not because you're trying to protect your wealth, but because you need to exercise the investing muscle. I can honestly say that one of my biggest regrets was not taking investing seriously until my 3rd year of $1 million plus income. And that's because when I was younger, I didn't exercise that investing muscle. Even if it was just $10 a day, at least I would have reference experience and I would understand how to do it, and it wouldn't seem like such a daunting task. Investing doesn't need to be a daunting task. It's actually rather simple, but get started with small sums of money. Remember, you're not trying to make money here in this first stage. You are simply just reinforcing the habit of saving for the future, which is a different thing. But just to make this abundantly clear, let's actually run the numbers. If you had invested $1,000 into the S&P 500 5 years ago, and by the way, the S&P 500 has done incredibly well over the last 5 years. Obviously, we've had a lot of macro conditions where this is not normal. The government doesn't print 40% of the world's money supply in a few-year window. So I seriously doubt you're not going to find these sort of results for a long time. But anyways, if you invested $1,000 5 years ago, you would have approximately $1,700 now. Now, here's the thing. Pretty much any other investment or asset class would have yielded you similar results. And that's not bad at all. These kind of returns in a 5-year window are amazing. But if you have millions of dollars, because listen, even 1% of $100 million is still $1 million a year. At that point, your investments could suck and you'd still make obscene amounts of money. And that's why I think it's so funny when I see wealthy people making videos saying, oh, the secret is to diversify your portfolio. Yeah, of course, but you're forgetting something very crucial. You did not get rich diversifying shit. You got rich because you went all in on one thing, and then you branched out your investments as a means to protect your wealth and as a way to have uncorrelated assets, so that way if one market wasn't doing well, maybe another market was doing well. So these are all things you learn as time goes on and you actually have money to manage. This is all stuff that you guys are going to find out as time goes on, but earlier in your stage, this advice does not apply to you. Now, listen, I'm sure that these people mean well, but to be honest, these videos do more harm than good. There's no such thing as universal advice. Advice needs to meet you where you're at your current career stage. Because listen, the average guy watches them and thinks, oh, this is how I'm gonna get rich. No, that is how you stay rich and multiply your wealth. But this is what you do after you have money to play with in the first place. But if you implemented that strategy as an average guy starting out without hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to deploy, tough luck. It is going to take you forever to get to your goals. In my opinion, you might as well torch that money on experiences. That way, at least you have some stories to tell when you're older. Diversification and long-term investments take way too long to create life-changing results if you don't have anything to start with. You need something quicker, which leads us to the main point of this video, which is offensive investing. So listen, offense investing, much like the word suggests, requires action, and this is not going to be easy work. It's not a magical pill. I'm not going to tell you to invest in some meme coin. You're not going to get rich overnight. And if that's what you wanted to hear, well then I'm sorry, this video is probably not for you. However, here's the good thing about this. Yes, you have to put in effort, but it fucking works. You don't have to speculate if a stock is going to go up or going to go down. You don't have to anticipate market fluctuations. All you have to do is put in the work and make as much money as you want. So, at this point, you're probably thinking, okay, spit it out. What is it? Well, if you know me, you probably know what it is. What I'm talking about is self-education. And the idea here is incredibly simple, and I'll actually just break it down with some simple math in a second. It's simple, but it's overwhelmingly powerful. If you put your $1,000 to work for you in the stock market, you would probably die before you see that turn into $100,000. But if you learn a profitable skill, one that you can sell for thousands of dollars, exactly like the ones we teach inside of Digital Launchpad, you can go from nothing to making 6 figures a year in literally a few months. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. As you can see, we have thousands of students who paid $37 and are making over $10,000 a month now. Really let that sink in. This is how ridiculously overpowered self-education is. What other kind of business can you spend $37 and make a 270x return in less than a year? And the main thing is, without luck and consistently. And this is why I'm so big on self-education and built my life's purpose around revolutionizing the educational system. And this is why I call my platform Digital Launchpad, because self-education is in fact a launchpad for the life that you want. And by the way, I want to make something very clear. I don't want this to be an ad for Digital Launchpad. Trust me, $37 is not going to change my life. I couldn't care less if you joined. Obviously, I think it's in your best interest to do so because I tried to make the best product out there on the market, but I want to make it clear that there is 1,000,001 different ways to use self-education to make more money. Let's take blue collar jobs, for example. You could get a plumber's license for as little as $75 and get paid more than 90% of people out there with fancy degrees. This also works for real estate, to get your real estate license. If you want to become a personal trainer and many other skills, get your license, get your qualification, not from these bullshit universities that charge you way too much money and you spend way too long. With most tangible skills out there, you can get the qualifications and the certificate or even just the self-education if it's online programs in just a couple of weeks, even a couple months, and you are off to the races. In my opinion, this is great and all. And by this point in the video, you should have zero doubt in your mind that self-education is the best path to start making real money, especially as a young guy in your early 20s. But just in case you're not convinced, stay with me for a second, because this right here is what makes self-education incomparably superior to anything else on the face of the earth. Well, people love talking about the compounding effects of investing. I mean, you probably saw those videos explaining how if you invest a certain amount and then about every 7 years it keeps doubling again and again, then after a while it's an insane amount of money and everyone wants to reference Warren Buffett and all this stuff. I get it. Listen, it does work. This is true. I mean, Einstein said it himself. Compounding interest is the 8th wonder of the world. But here's the issue I have with this. Is it going to work? Yeah. Is it going to take a long ass time to build that momentum? Also true. And to me personally, being rich in your 70s is fine. Like, it's great. You can take care of your loved ones. You can leave them a tiny little nest egg. You don't have to be a burden on your family. You're kind of set. However, if you want to live a truly memorable life, then you need to get rich young. You need to get rich now. And I'm not talking become a multi-millionaire by the time that you're 16 that a lot of these people feel pressured to these days. I mean, just get to a point where you have financial freedom, where 95% of things you don't need to look at the price tag of. You could pretty much live the life that you want. But what if I told you that there's actually a hack, a cheat code, a shortcut to achieving the same compounding effect that's not dependent on time? What if I told you that you can have the exact same exponential returns in less than a year? Hear me out. When people think of compounding interest, they think of what? Time, correct? They associate the concept of compounding as something that grows exponentially in a certain time frame. However, let me offer you a slightly different perspective. And this is what people don't realize. And by the way, this keeps them from making unfair amounts of money. You can achieve the same compounding interest effect through learning skills, through skill stacking, and strategically stacking them on top of each other. And here's how you're gonna do this. Picture this. John works a low-level 9-to-5. He makes $20,000 a year. Now he learns copywriting. It takes him a few months, but now he's on pace to make $70,000 a year. And then he learns how to hire and delegate and manage a team. And now he's making $140,000 a year. And then he learns systems and client acquisitions. And now his business is on pace to do 280 grand a year. And then he learns content creation and personal branding, and now he's making $1 million a year. And I could keep going on and on about skill stacking until he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. But here's the point. You do not have to wait until you have gray hairs and grandkids to start seeing the digits in your bank account double every couple of months. Instead of using time as a catalyst to double your income, you can use skill stacking and double your revenue every couple of months, predictably and consistently. And that, my friend, ties perfectly with the message of this video. And that is, self-education can propel you to riches faster than any other investment out there. Now, once you actually invest in your education and start to actually make decent money, multiple six figures or even 7+, then and only then should you get serious about boring, long-term defensive investments. As I said previously, you should always be doing it on a small scale, even if it's just $5 a week, just so you can consolidate that habit. But the moment that you actually want to get serious about this is when you have multiple six figures just laying around and nowhere to put it, or when your business is making more money than you know what to do with it, where you can no longer reinvest in the business. However, until that moment comes, keep investing in the best asset there is in the world, which is yourself. So with all that being said, I really hope like when you go to bed at night, you just understand that, yes, I want you to buy property. Yes, I want you to invest in the stock market. Yes, have some alternative assets. Play around, see what you enjoy investing in. Go buy $300,000 watches like this. Do whatever you want, but nothing on earth will ever be as valuable as you are. There's no asset on earth that will produce in the way that you can. And who is it? Jay-Z that said, "I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman." And what he's trying to say there is that all these businesses are great, but at the end of the day, I am the golden goose that is laying these eggs. I am the producer at the end of the day. So with all that said, just know that I'm watching from afar and I'm rooting for you.